does chicken get to have all the fun? I'm gonna show you an unforgettable vegetarian butter chicken that's gonna open up a whole new world for you, featuring tofu. Plus, my 3 secrets for making this butter chicken taste just as good, if not better, than the restaurant version. I love butter chicken, but it's not really a great back pocket dinner because it relies on me having fresh chicken in the house. Instead, I make vegetarian butter chicken with tofu. One package will last ages and ages in your fridge, and then you can have delicious butter chicken any night of the week. It's a favorite with me and my family and one of the most popular recipes in my second book. To make this butter tofu, you will obviously need some tofu. You'll also need yogurt, lemon juice, onion, garlic, fresh ginger, some dried spices, and some tomato puree. And we'll finish it off with some cream and frozen peas. I'm gonna start by making a really simple and quick marinade for the tofu. It's based on plain yogurt and just some other flavorings on top. So I'll mix together some plain yogurt, just about 1/2 cup, with some fresh lemon juice, turmeric, and fresh ginger. I love using my microplane zester on fresh ginger. It's a really quick and easy way to get tiny little pieces of ginger into a marinade. I'm just going to trim off the skin, and then I can use my zester to just grate that ginger right into the marinade. Just mix that all together. Now you can marinate this overnight, but I find really just 20 minutes is plenty. And that's just about enough time to get everything else going for this dish, which makes this a perfect back pocket dinner, ideal for busy weeknights. Okay, let's add the tofu. I'm using firm tofu for this. You could use extra firm, but I really prefer the firm. It's just a little bit more enjoyable to eat. Now, I really love tofu. I don't think I've ever had it in a way that I don't like it. I find the secret to falling in love with tofu is actually getting the right texture, so not using the extra firm. Extra firm tofu is just too bouncy and rubbery and chewy. We want this tofu to really absorb the flavors that we're going to infuse into this sauce and become just fragrant and so flavorful that you just can't wait to take another bite. So this tofu is packed in water, so I'm just going to drain it and then cube it up and pop it into that marinade and then just let it sit for about 20 minutes. Like this recipe? Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. I release new videos every week and you don't want to miss a single one. Be gentle when you stir this. You don't really want to break the tofu up too much. All right, so I'll let that sit at room temperature until I'm ready for it. All right, to start the beautiful butter chicken sauce for this recipe, I'm going to start with an onion, finely chopped. I also want 2 cloves of garlic. So I'll turn on a pot over medium heat. And now it's time to put the butter in the butter chicken, which also contains no chicken, but it does contain butter. So I tried this many ways when I was developing this recipe for my second book. And I found that you gotta have a certain quantity of butter in order for it to really taste restaurant worthy. So that's one of my biggest secrets for making this butter chicken taste restaurant worthy. 3 tablespoons of butter. Once that butter is sizzling, I'm gonna add the onions and the garlic. And for the garlic, I'm just gonna use another one of my favorite kitchen gadgets, my garlic press. Pop those both in there, and I'll squeeze that right into the pot. Secret number 2 to making this dish taste really restaurant worthy is to cook the onions and garlic until they're quite soft. You don't want to speed this step up. I know I'm often trying to speed things up, especially on a weeknight, but this is important. Make sure you cook the onions and garlic until they're really nice and soft, just about translucent. It's better to use a lower heat for longer time than a higher heat and accidentally burn them. All right, let's add some ground spices. A teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of salt, not really a spice, but may as well add it now. Oh, whoops, no, only half a teaspoon. Don't add too much salt. That's not recommended. And then 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne, which is optional if you like it a little bit spicy. Just that little sexy tickle. But of course you can skip this entirely if you're serving this to kids or if you just don't like spicy food. However, I like it. So you know what? I'm gonna add a rounded 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne. Living on the edge. And then, and this might be a surprise, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. It's not gonna taste cinnamony, it's gonna be a nice background kind of warmth. And I think it really makes this dish taste extra special. Just 1/8 of a teaspoon. Stir that in. And you can see that the onions are really starting to soften up. They're starting to get almost translucent. This is the perfect way to add spices, because when you add spices to something that's got heat, like temperature heat, and fat, like butter in it, that is the best way to get spices to really open up and taste most like themselves. So, that's the end of that. Next up is some tomato puree. I like to use this pre-pureed Italian tomatoes. It's called tomato passata, but you can also use canned tomatoes and just puree them in a blender. I need a little over a cup, like about 1.25 cups to make a nice sauce. I'm just gonna add this right in on top of my onions and spices. All right, now it's time to add that tofu mixture. And I'm not just gonna pick out the tofu and add it, I'm gonna add the whole thing, the yogurt, the ginger, the turmeric, the lemon juice, and of course, the tofu. In you go. Just gently, gently stir this to incorporate. Again, I don't really want to break up the pieces of tofu. I just wanna make this into a kind of consistent mixture. All right, I'm gonna cover and simmer this for about 15 minutes. This has been simmering for about 15 minutes. Take a look. Yum. The sauce is nice and thick. You can see how the tofu is like completely taken on the color of that sauce. Just 2 more ingredients to add here. First of all is some cream. Now this is heavy cream, 35% whipping cream. This is secret number 3. You've got to use the right cream. If you tried doing this with a 12% cream or even a half and half, it's not gonna have the same richness and it's really not gonna taste as good as it possibly could. So I'm gonna use between 2 tablespoons and 1/4 cup of cream, and I'll just stir it in right now. I'll start with half and see how that looks. Well, you know, I already poured the other half, so I think I'll just add it too. Now, to make this a complete meal in one bowl, I'm gonna add my favorite back pocket vegetable, some frozen peas. And I'll just stir those in and cook it for just another couple of minutes until everything is piping hot. All righty, that is ready. I am so excited. Now you can serve this with rice or just on its own. I'm gonna make myself a nice little bowl of it here. So you've got that gorgeous, spiced, creamy, rich sauce, and the beautiful, tender tofu that's got tons and tons of flavor in it. I'm gonna add a little sprinkling of garam masala on top, just to add that extra authenticity. And then of course, fresh cilantro. Now, if you don't like fresh cilantro, you feel free to skip it. I love it, so I'm gonna go for it. Here it is, butter tofu, a fantastic vegetarian version of butter chicken, but an amazing back pocket dinner that is gonna save you on those busy weeknights when you don't have time to go grocery shopping, because it's a meal that you make with stuff you've got on hand. And if you'd like some more back pocket dinners, and really, who wouldn't? Click on the link in the description below to download a free mini collection of my favorite back pocket dinners. The full recipe of this delicious dish is there too. Hey guys, life is complicated, but cooking shouldn't be. Happy cooking. And check out these other back pocket dinners. Oh, I love this so much.